Okay, I'll be doing a quick video on how to deal with bad reviews on social media. My name is Ben Aylett. I run a little business called Easy Wireless. I'm also a social media commentator, a technology commentator. I work with the media industry and basically I have a whole lot of fun with it. So I've been in this business now for 25 years as an IT professional, and I've got this little business called Easy Wireless, and it's pretty well reviewed. And all of my reviews were 5-star reviews. So I'd have people like saying always helpful and knows his stuff, also enjoy his spots on local media, which is great. Thanks very much, Gary, for that one. And William comes up with a good one, the best. I wouldn't use anyone else. Ben is amazing. Another big thank you. So this is the community that I've built around my brand, Easy Wireless, and also myself. And here we go. Something from Melinda Branton Rochard. Ben is the man to see for anything computer or tech related. He is extremely knowledgeable and highly recommended. What could go so wrong? Well, this actually happened last night. I got a 1-star review from Cal Carlos. So his complaint was, and this is for 1-star review, no response to question relating to router, seems not interested in ordinary people with simple request. I am very much interested in ordinary people. It's my bread and butter. That's how I make a living, is looking after ordinary people when it comes to making sure they've got their questions answered. So obviously my first reaction, like any other person who's put a whole bunch of time, money and effort into developing a business and developing a brand. I've been doing this for over 25 years and I get this. So obviously my first reaction is, how dare he? How dare this person come and say this sort of thing? And I don't even know where the question is. I don't remember seeing any question from Cal Carlos. So I decided, after I calmed down a bit, because I was pretty annoyed, as anyone would be. I decided, let's address this head on. So I answered, quite happy to answer questions. When was the question sent? Can't seem to find any outstanding questions. And luckily for me, I've got my community around me, and Gary chimes in. He says, hey Cal, I found these guys to be super helpful. Please give them a chance to improve on 1-star. Good luck on fixing your router. So it's positive feedback and questions. And Cal replies 24th of October 2017. And I just say, look, I must have missed it. Would you mind resending your question? And then Cal comes back with, must be bad memory, question mark. And let's have a look at where that question was actually asked. Right here. So just to give a bit of context, this is a live video I did after an appearance I did on 6PR, which I live stream onto my page, and I did a quick Q&A session. So in this live video that I recorded on the 23rd of October, it was all fine. I answered the questions as they came in because it was live feed and I could see the comments scrolling by. On the 24th, Cal asks at 11 minutes 13 seconds into the video, can you recommend a better gateway than Telstra Gateway for NBN? And that's a fair enough question. The problem is, by the 24th of October, so almost a day later, I'm not looking at those comments. It's almost, I don't know about you guys, but I would call it almost unreasonable to expect anyone to be monitoring comments for a live video that has stopped being recorded. So, so I found that puzzling as well. So I responded, okay, that's not a good place to ask questions like that. Video chat is hard to keep track of, so I explained why it was missed. And if you want serious advice, please message the page directly, Cal. So I offered him a solution. Now keep in mind that no money has changed hands. There's been no exchange of goods or exchange of services for any sort of consideration being money, which that's how I make a living. People use my intelligence, they use my experience to better use their technology. And so Cal comes back and says, so you saying your show is not serious to ask questions? Well, that is a surprise. Anyway, water under the bridge now. Okay, I'll come back to that water under the bridge in a second. I respond, I say, the show is serious, but asking questions that demand answers are best directed to the page as a message. Comments and live videos asked the day after the live video is broadcast are hard to track. And Cal says, sure, no problem. Now, water under the bridge now, you'd think with water under the bridge, it's okay, or is he still going to hold a grudge? Did not change the review. He said, water under the bridge, it's done, but no change on the review. So my overall review still suffered, and I'll be addressing this. Sure, no problem. And then he throws in a question. He doesn't know what's going on. So, all right. So, and then Graham steps up, another great member of my community that I'm proud to call a part of the Easy Wireless family. Not sure if you're missing a question deserves a 1-star rating on a man's business. Are you feeling sore that you were missed or rejected like a reject? Okay. Everyone's got their own way of addressing things. From my point of view, a little harsh, but hey, Graham, that's how he's a straight talker, as they'd say. Pretty straight shooter. And then I took the decision because I think this is a very teachable experience, something that we can all get something out of. So I have banned Cal Carlos from the page. Now, not because I'm angry with him. I'm sure I'm a little bit upset, a little bit perplexed. But I want to make sure that I freeze this moment in time so it's something that we can all go back to and learn more from. So I think there is a really, really important message here, something we can really benefit from. So a big thank you to Cal Carlos for actually making this happen and giving me something to talk about that I can share with other owners of businesses that have Facebook pages or businesses that are out there thinking, I'd like to get into social media, but the negative comments scare me. And that's fair enough. I mean, you've put your heart and soul into a business and you're doing the very best you can. I mean, no one goes into business with their eyes closed thinking, I'll just put up a sign somewhere, or I'll open up a shop somewhere and just the money will roll in. No. Anyone who's in business knows that you are putting your heart, your soul, you are risking a lot going into business for yourself. And you are really dedicating yourself to that cause. So, what can we learn from this? Well, let's have a look at the review system. The review system in social media is extremely powerful because when it's positive, it is word of mouth and people see it. And that word of mouth is really, really convincing when it comes to having someone who's looking at your business. They look at the reviews and they are going to base a lot of their decision to go for you or not go for you based on the reviews that they see. So how can you make the review system work for you? Look at it this way. The review system is a public forum that shows visitors and potential clients how your business communicates and responds to comments, both positive and negative. So a lot of people don't touch social media for the simple reason that they are scared of being torn down publicly on the internet. And yeah, that's a really, really scary concept. But should we be scared of negative feedback? No, absolutely not. Negative feedback is a chance to not only address shortfalls in your business and improve, but it's also a great business opportunity to demonstrate how your business grows in the public eye. A bad review, if it's legitimate, it gives you grounds for improvement. And you can do this in the public eye and people can actually see, and which is why I've left this review up from Cal. People can actually see how I've stepped through the process of resolving an issue. And it's the same for any other business. If someone has a complaint, they can see how the business cares about that complaint and cares about the customer and cares about how they interact with the public and how they address that issue. So if there are actually grounds for a poor review and it's addressed, great. People see it being addressed and they think, yeah, that was a bad review, but they fixed it. It boosts the confidence that people have in that business. Now, if that bad review is baseless and you address it and you ask questions, then it will become apparent pretty quickly that that complaint really has no grounds. And people can look at that and say, these people who operate this business, sure, they might have their knockers, they might have competitors who masquerade as customers, and even if the reviews are crap, this business addresses them. So again, bad reviews, whether they are based on fact or not, they can really help a business's public profile get elevated just by responding calmly and reasonably, because that's what we want at the end of the day. So looking back, I looked at what mistakes I made that brought me to earn that review. What could have I done different to prevent this review from seeing the light of day? I was probably not clear on explaining the best way to ask questions. I should have probably said, if you're not watching this live, the best way to ask any questions is to post directly to my Facebook page or message the Facebook page directly. So there are two channels that people can, who are watching the video, two ways that they can ask questions, whether it's related to the topic that I'm talking about or not. It gives the person who's operating that page a good way to track and manage all those queries. And when you can track and manage them, nothing goes missing through, and we don't have this sort of situation. Miscommunication is one of the most common causes for poor reviews or poor customer service. Very important. So communication is key. We know this. So that's what I could have done differently. And that's what I'm going to try to do from now on. So as I finish up a video, I'm going to say, if you've got more questions, feel free to leave them on the Facebook page. Just post them directly to the page. Or if you've got a message that you want to send me directly, you can also message the page using the Facebook Messenger function. And that's it. That's done. Don't expect to have questions answered as a comment in a live video. That's a place for discussion and just for the light chit chat and just interacting with the host at the time. Once the host has finished recording it, that's it. It's gone. Okay. So 2 points that I think you should keep in mind with bad reviews on social media. Now, this is for the business side. I'll be talking about the customer side as well, because that's important as well. Address the bad and the good reviews as quickly as possible. A thanks or a returned compliment for a good review, and for negative reviews, look for ways to address the complaint. In most cases, bad reviews stick and you can't simply delete them. So the best you can do is encourage good reviews as a part of your customer service to reduce the overall impact that a bad review might have on your profile. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard the rule that if someone is happy with the service, they might tell one other person. If someone is unhappy with a business, they'll tell 11 other people. So there is like a big knock-on effect. So if someone's really upset, they're going to tell a lot of people. If someone is ecstatic, they're going to probably mention it in passing and say, oh yeah, Ben from Easy Wireless, he fixed that computer. Yeah, it's running fine now. People, it's very hard to get a cheer squad behind you, which is why building a community on your page is very important. Now, getting on to the second point to keep in mind is that you should use reviews as a way to demonstrate that your business page is monitored, it's active and responsive. So you are able to address these issues quickly. And if you're responsive and if you're active, you will also expose bad reviews as baseless. So just remember that an unanswered complaint can really damage a reputation. When people are reading those reviews down the track, they're going to see unanswered complaints. Very important to address them, because when they're unanswered, it means it's going to leave the person reading those reviews with even more questions. Does this business care about the customers? And that's really important. We've got to make sure that we give the true impression that we care about our customers very, very much. Now, for people who are on social media and like to give feedback to business pages, whether positive or negative or otherwise, making a complaint, it's leaving reviews and making complaints is it's got a massive impact on a business. I can't stress how much impact it has on a business owner who receives a bad review. I've seen some people literally lose their minds over bad reviews, even though those bad reviews are completely false, because they can't delete those bad reviews. It's up to the person who left the review to manage that review. So when you're making a complaint, you have to realize that you're dealing with someone's way of living. If there was a missed call or a question that goes unanswered, like in my case, is it really worth a public and negative review? Why not look at a way to resolve it with a direct approach, with a clear goal in mind of what you want to help that business improve before going public with a review that could set a business back to a point where it could take a considerable effort beyond addressing your complaint to fix. Okay? If the business addresses, now this is another thing, if the business addresses your complaint and you're satisfied with the result, make sure that you update that review. Turn it in from a 1-star review to a 5-star review, or even a 4-star review if you're not completely satisfied, but don't leave it as a negative review if they've actually solved your complaint. That's dirty pool. That's not the way we should be playing it. So the business has actually gone out of their way quickly to address your complaint. You, by honor bound or just a sign of decent respect, should turn around and change that review as soon as they address your problem. Don't leave it hanging. You're doing damage to someone else's livelihood just by leaving it there. Be proactive. If you got upset enough to make a complaint and that complaint is fixed, you should be honourable enough to make that change ASAP. So, in closing, with making a complaint, if you can demonstrate a reasonable complaint, then go right ahead. But if your complaint is biased, unfair, fraudulent, or baseless, well, then you can expect to be dragged over the coals and possibly face legal action. So this is a little excerpt from Slater and Gordon, just to let people know that there are 5 things you've got to consider when it comes about social media defamation. Because a bad review without any basis or any truth is defamation. So in general terms, defamation occurs when a person intentionally spreads information about another person, group, or group of people, or small company that damages their reputation or can make others think less of them. Defamation is actionable regardless of the medium. A person can be defamed, for example, in print, through photos, and on the internet. Okay, and this comes back to a story I quoted on a little while ago, where people think that there is some sort of a line between the digital world and the real world. There is no line. What you do in cyberspace has real world implications. Keep that in mind. Right, defamation cases involving the internet and social media are relatively new, but the same principles apply. A person who did not create the defamatory material, but only shares it, for instance, by retweeting a tweet, can also be found liable, guilty of defamation. So you don't even have to create the original post. All you have to do is share it. And you kind of become like an accessory to the offence. There have been several defences to defamation, including that the statement was true or that it was an expression of an honest opinion. Consequently, you may be liable for defamation if you spread information which constitutes a harmful and untrue statement of fact about another person. Which brings me back to the original complaint. No response to question relating to router. Well, that's true. Seems not interested in ordinary people with simple requests. Well, that's an opinion. So in this case, Cal Carlos, even though I view it as baseless, he has expressed an opinion and he's also used a fact. So in this case, Carl is within his rights to make a statement like this. Is it acceptable? I don't think so. Anyway, guys, That's enough for me. I'm going to leave it at that. But thanks very much for your time. If you have a business and you've got a Facebook page or any other sort of business related page on the internet that involves social media, please feel free to use this or ask me questions. If you've got any other questions about social media and how it works for your business, please get in touch. Leave a comment. Don't leave a comment in the video. Get in touch with me directly on my Facebook page through Messenger, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. I'm also on Twitter. So there's my, well, there it is. Yeah, there's my Twitter tag. So you can find me on there as well. I'm all over the internet. So feel free to drop me a line, get in touch, ask a question, and I'd be quite happy to do what I can to help you out, because that's what I'm all about. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for your time, and I will catch you later.